So we are in a theater. See, this thing we're playing is a theater. By the time we start dissection, you will understand. So I'm going to use 2-3 minutes to explain this to all things. Right? Now we are considering data types today. We said data comes in different categories. You can take data in form of characters. You can take data in form of integers. You can take data in floating points, double, string, date, timestamp, and block. If you are handling data that is strictly going to be a single character without changing, you make use of char as a data type. For instance, grading of student result is usually A, B, C, D, E, and F. You are for sure that it will remain only character. For your program to work best, give it char as a data type. If you are going to work with data that is strictly going to be integers, whole numbers, like head count, counting number of people, you can never have 1.5 person. Even if it's a small person, it's complete. It's a complete number. So if you are for sure that the data you are going to be dealing with is going to be whole numbers, then you give your data type as integer. If the data type you are dealing with, the kind of data you are dealing with is going to have decimal places, like average, you make use of float as a data type. Float is going to allow you to have up to 8 figures after the decimal point. So if you are dealing with records that has to do with things like average, you make use of float as your data type. But if you are handling data, for instance, you've heard of nanotechnology, right? Nano means 9. That's already more than 8. So if you are handling a data that can float up to 9 digits after decimal place or more, you make use of double as your data type. Because if you make use of float, by the time it gets to 8 digits after the decimal place, the system will truncate it and throw that away. And in some domain, that is going to cause a lot of chaos. So you are going to use double if you find yourself in that kind of situation. String. String is an alphanumeric data type. It can make use of both alphabets and numbers and special characters. If you are doing things, taking kind of data that has to do with things like name, address, phone number, you can make use of string. Because phone number, you know, foreign numbers, they have code, +234 in case of Nigeria. You understand? So that plus, if you give integer, you know that the plus cannot enter. Are you there? So in that case, you make use of string for your phone number data type. If you are going to take things like date and time, things like date of birth, you make use of date as your data type. But if you have to do something that will capture both date and time, for instance, transactions in a bank, you call, they say, when did you do this thing? You say it was so day. What will help them get that thing very quick? They will make use of the time to go and look for that thing within the range that thing happened, and it will be easier to track because millions of transactions are recorded in a day. So if you are doing some applications that a lot of people are going to be, doing transactions online, capturing timestamp is very, very important. It helps you by the time you want to check some things. And you also have blob. Blob is a data that is used for images, videos. If you have anything that has to do with images and videos, the data type you are going to be using is blob. There are some specific applications that make use of slightly different data types or additional. For instance, if you are talking about database MySQL, as we'll be diving into shortly, My SQL doesn't call this guy string but calls it varchar. But it's the same thing. It's handling alphanumeric. But in that domain, it is called varchar. And also in my SQL, there is a data type called tiny. It takes integers but can only take only 3 digits. So as you move from domain to domain, there are going to be some little changes. For instance, like Java. Java has another data type here called long. It takes integers, but the capacity of long is bigger than that of integer. Are you there? Okay. So this is how data types work, and it has a great implication on your program. Once you declare a data type, once you declare a variable, it comes along with the data type. Immediately you declare a variable, as we said earlier, variables are containers that space in the memory of a system for storing of variables, right? They collect values. So as soon as you declare a variable, you define its data type, the system is going to apportion a certain size of memory, allocate it to that variable. And the kind of space the system will allocate to that variable depends on the kind of data it's going to accommodate. For instance, if you say car, the system is going to allocate only one space, because the system is so sure that this is a character data type and it will not take more than 1 digit. If you define it as integer, the system is going to allocate up to 8 spaces. This is the capacity of an integer. So for instance, if you have to do something that is going to take only one value and you give it as integer, which is going to take up to 8 memory spaces, about 7 of them are going to be marked busy but empty. That means nothing can use this space, this memory space, until this program releases it. So if you don't know how to give your data types correctly, you are going to waste a lot of memory. And the effect of that thing on your program on the long run is that your program is going to be slow. It's not going to be fast. It's not going to be optimized. Yeah, you have a question. Okay.
In the process where you are writing a data, like data what they give, just your names.
Yes.
What kind of data type are you going to use? Since you said character, there is just for one character.
You make use of string. String can accommodate character to any length.
Okay.
So you make use of string. Any other question?
For example, if you want to accept data that to do with the person's height, and you said that you can only accept float because of the decimal. What if in some situation where it differs from place to place? Let's say in some countries they accept like centimeters. For example, now if you are 190 centimeters, that means you're close to 6 feet tall. So in that case, which one are we to use? Is there a standard for such kind of data?
Fine. Now you write a program with a broadband with dynamism in hand. This application you are writing for this purpose, another person will also need it tomorrow, right? And their height may no longer be in centimeters. They can measure it in feet or any other parameter. And apart from that, if you can see, height has a tendency to have or to accommodate floating values. There is a tendency for that there. So it will not be correct for you to give it as integer. By the time height begins to adjust and produce decimals, your program will not function. Or at most, it will truncate those things and throw them away, and you will not get the best result. So as long as that data has a tendency to get that, include it before you run into program when your application has already been deployed and many people are using it. Is that clear? Thank you very much. All right. That's all we can say. Yeah, a question?
Yes, there was an assignment you gave me
Okay.
to record some data, like a phone number.
Yeah.
I went to Excel.
Yes.
To record the phone number. Let's say a number starts with 08000.
Good.
From That's 0
And
0.
as soon as you write, the system will truncate the first zero.
Yes.
Fine, these are the issues I'm talking about. So you see, that system has been programmed to take digits. And anything that is zero, the system counts it as nothing and it throws it away. Do you understand? So that is how you can control your program. If, for instance, now you give your data type, date of birth, are we together? You give your date, you are writing a program that requires to take date, and then you give your date of birth as data type. And somebody is coming to type string there, you know that the system will reject it. Do you understand? This also helps you to take control of the kind of input you receive from the users. Because if you don't do this correctly, a user can come where you are supposed to put a figure, for instance, an amount. A user can come and enter a string there.
So in essence now, what you're saying now is 0 is not the beginning.
That's not what I'm saying. But by the time, according to any zero that comes before a number is considered nothing.
Okay, like
In mathematics, that is how we
like
do it.
account number. Some account number start with 0 0. And all the zeros will go.
If you make use of Excel, you will understand what we're talking about. So, for instance, now you are writing the program that requires, okay, now we are writing a school portal application, right? So, take for instance, now where students are supposed to pay school fees, enter amount for school fees, and then you declare that to be string. With hope that these people will be reasonable and they will enter figure. Somebody will come and put J for you. And the system takes in J, and the function you have written there is to do computation. And that function cannot handle J, you know that your program is going to throw an error. But by the time you give the data type to be integer, if the person enter J, the system will say wrong number. Call another one. Enter the correct thing, enter a number. Do you understand? So this helps you in controlling the kind of input you take so that your program will work correctly. That's another perspective to it. Are we together? Any other question concerning data types? Alright, so this is where we are going to end data types for today. Thank you.